the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
I'm a mom of 2 black boys, and I'm afraid for them every day.
Tonight on DC News Now, a student's alarming arrest ignites a debate in DC on whether the district should reverse course on eliminating school resource officers. We're live as parents tell us they are scared for their kids' safety.
Plus, a major dilemma developing in the district, a renewed push for DC statehood. We are live at the Capitol with how an expected new Senate bill aims to make the District of Columbia the 51st state. Also,
schools are going to be predisposed to have more injuries and more serious injuries as well.
Students and parents in Fairfax County, Virginia, making a push to prioritize the safety of student athletes. We're live in Falls Church tonight with their call to action.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you. You know what? We actually saw a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, partial clearing taking place, and we actually have a good sun and cloud mix for your Tuesday, but our weather team is tracking our next storm system. I'll show you when, coming up.
And we begin with breaking news. Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Tasmeen Mahfouz. And tonight, 2 students are dead and an adult is seriously hurt after a shooting at a school in Des Moines, Iowa. Police say there is no active threat at this time. Police also say the shooting happened this afternoon at an educational program that helps at-risk youth. They say officers stopped a car about 2 miles away and took 3 suspects into custody. Investigators say the shooting was definitely targeted. Right now, we are working to gather more details on this active investigation. Of course, we'll bring you the latest updates on air and online on DCNewsNow.com.
And developing tonight in the district, an 18-year-old is arrested with a gun at his school in Northeast this morning. It highlights a big debate in D.C. whether it should reverse course on eliminating school resource officers. Our Dana Hamburg joins us live from the Wilson Building in Northwest D.C. And Daniel, parents tell you they're scared for their kids' safety.
Well, Chris, that's because there has been such an increase in crime in and around schools, especially when it comes to kids being involved. Now, the fix to this issue is something that not everyone agrees on.
I am afraid for the children in our schools, especially those in my ward, Ward 8, which is why my children do not attend school in Ward 8.
Taisha Andrews is a mom of 2 boys who lobbied council members Monday to support kids with vital resources in their community.
We're looking for more programs east of the river. We're looking for a wider variety of programs at all of our libraries, our local Department of Recreation.
Those programs, she says, will help keep students out of trouble and get them help when needed. But safety is an issue.
Some of us do have out-of-school time programs that are in our communities, but we're too afraid to send our children there due to the lack of security, due to the type of individuals that hang out outside of all of these programs.
Mayor Bowser this past weekend said hiring more police in the city is a priority.
We are going to go into this budget cycle with the appropriate request based on what the chief recommends to us and what we think that we can hire.
Notably, council members voted to remove all school resource officers by 2025, something Bowser has been pushing to reverse. Andrews isn't against having at least 1 officer at every school for security.
However, I think that comes with a training. There needs to be proper training done on the officers because the children should not be felt as though they're in a penitentiary. The children should not be felt as though they are being policed.
But she wants Bowser to focus on community volunteers in schools.
The children would be more inclined to open up to the community individuals versus their teachers and other school staff members, especially versus police officers who a lot of us are frankly afraid of.
So while some community groups are lobbying the council here, last weekend Mayor Bowser met with advisory neighborhood commissioners to also talk about how to fix this problem, how to get teens especially involved in different programs to keep them out of trouble. So something that is not a quick fix, but everyone seems to be working their best to solve. We're live in Northwest. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you. And developing now after a day-long manhunt. A suspect accused of shooting at a police officer in Prince George's County is now in custody. It all started this morning in Hickory Hill Avenue when neighbors called police about a suspicious van that had its alarm blaring on and off for about 2 hours. Police say when officers got there, they approached the van. The driver fired his gun. An officer fired back before the suspect drove off. The suspect was eventually arrested hours later. Neighbors say it was a scary scene.
I'm freaked out for their safety. In a quiet community like this, things like this can happen. Shot being fired. And thank God my kids already went to school.
And police say that the officer who fired at the suspect is now on administrative leave pending an internal investigation.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed a tad bit of sunshine this afternoon. I know we woke up to kind of a rough start with dreary conditions. That storm system has pushed offshore, and it's left behind a good old-fashioned breeze that's really going to stay in place until about Thursday afternoon. Unfortunately, going to cause our temperatures to feel a lot cooler. So it does look pretty calm right now, and a great shot of the Washington Monument under partly cloudy skies. Temperatures still in the lower 40s right now for our nation's capital. The farther west you go, it is a lot cooler. Satellite composite radar, you can see a few clouds lingering more across southern Maryland, northern Virginia, partial clearing taking place. Really, we're going to be fairly quiet going into your Tuesday with that sun and cloud mixture throughout the day. This time tomorrow, when I see you, we're actually going to start to talk about our approaching storm system and start to really notice increasing clouds across the area. Wind speeds right now, they're on the light side, about 5 to 15 miles per hour, but they're going to continue to really rev up for your Tuesday into Wednesday afternoon. Also, you can see Luray 34 degrees, so just above the freezing mark. It's starting to get a little bit warmer for Kaiser into the Cumberland area, where we've dealt with snow and winter weather advisories earlier this afternoon. For Lexington Park, currently at 44 degrees. So hour by hour, we're going to stay with increasing clouds, but that is really going to start to clear for your early morning hours. Hey, in a moment, we'll take a look at that all-important bus stop forecast for you kiddos, and then what to expect with this approaching storm system that will be kind of a triple threat across our area, from rain, snow, and a little bit of freezing rain. All that's coming up.
All right, all new tonight, Fairfax County student athletes and their parents are pleading for help from the school board. They say it needs to do more to keep them safe. Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Max Marcilla joining us live outside Jackson Middle School and Falls Church tonight. And Max, a large turnout there, and this really was a night that even united rivals.
It was. There were student athletes and their parents representing different schools, wearing different team jerseys, but tonight they were all competing with one goal in mind. They wanted to convey their message to the school board that it needs to act to put 2 full-time athletic trainers in every Fairfax County high school. Every time Fairfax County student athletes hit the gridiron or step foot on the hardwood, they're taking a chance with their health. It's all for the love of the game, but also the trust they have in their athletic training staff.
They've always been super helpful, and they've always, they've been able to give me guidance.
At a Monday night school board budget public hearing, there was an impressive showing of these student athletes calling for change.
My freshman year, we didn't have enough coverage from trainers, and the one game where we had to borrow a trainer, we had 7 concussions that game.
They say right now each county high school either has a full-time and part-time trainer or just one full-time. So they're asking for a second full-time trainer.
Having 2 full-time trainers really ensures that the safety of athletes is going to continue to be paramount.
It's what keeps all Fairfax County sports going.
There are a few reasons for these pleas, from concerns the part-time trainer's stipend is too low to an increased appreciation for the trainers. But most importantly, they're worried about the consequences of having just one trainer on any given busy day of games and practices.
Someone could have a very critical injury, and the athletic trainer, if there's only one, could be at a different part of the campus at another event. The reason it's critical is because you don't want to, in hindsight, say coulda, shoulda, woulda after the tragedy happens.
Now, the advocates you heard from say not every school has that part-time position filled. They say the hours are too long, the pay is too low for what they're being asked to do. That's why they say a second full-time position is really important. Meanwhile, the school board continues its review of the budget with a work session tomorrow. Reporting live in Fairfax County, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
And developing in the district, a renewed push for D.C. statehood. Congress members are expected to announce a new Senate bill aiming to make the District of Columbia the 51st state. Our Meryl Carbone is live from the Capitol, where D.C. currently does not have any voting members in Congress. And Marielle, a new study says there's a lot of money at stake here.
That's right, Thasmin. You know, typically when we're having this discussion about statehood, it really focuses on voters and specifically the argument that people who live here in D.C., their vote doesn't count on big national issues. But this new report, it focuses in on the billions of dollars the district could potentially be missing out on by not being a state.
It's a fight that's more than 200 years old. Should the District of Columbia be its own state?
It only seems fair that if people here are paying taxes, they should be entitled to representation in Congress.
This is really a racial and economic justice issue.
Erica Williams is the executive director of the D.C. Fiscal Policy Institute. The agency recently released this report, which takes a look at the financial impacts of the statehood dilemma.
We are not allowed, as every other state in the country is, to tax the income of people who work and earn their living here in the district but don't live here.
Because of that, the report estimates the district is missing out on roughly $3.2 billion in income taxes.
And that would be money that we could invest in greater racial equity in our schools and our communities.
And although statehood would bring added expenses like running the court system or incarcerating people with felonies, which are currently federally funded, Williams says the added revenue would outweigh the added expenses.
We would still gain $1.36 billion.
A bill on D.C. statehood has passed the House twice, but it's never been voted on in the Senate. And that could soon change. Tuesday, Delaware Senator Tom Carper will announce a Senate bill on D.C. statehood, a measure supported by Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Right now in Washington, D.C., people, Americans that pay taxes just like everybody else, who are just like everybody else, literally don't have a vote in their Congress.
All right, so this Senate bill announcement is expected to come tomorrow morning. But Chris and Thasmin, although this has passed twice in the House, the current makeup of the House right now is majority Republican, so it likely won't be able to pass in the House, at least at this point. Reporting live from the Capitol tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Now the waiting game continues. Marielle, thank you. Meanwhile, new details tonight as Amazon founder and Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos says his newspaper is not up for sale.
Now this comes after a New York Post report today said that Bezos may sell the newspaper to buy the Washington Commanders. Bezos and other potential buyers had started talks on a potential bid for the team after current Commanders owner Dan Snyder indicated a possible transaction. The Commanders are now valued at $5.6 billion.
Messages of hate. It's a troubling trend that's showing up in more Montgomery County, Maryland schools. Coming up, another act of anti-Semitism happening at several schools. We talked with a student and parent who are calling for the hate to stop. Their meaningful message straight ahead.
Plus, tax season officially kicks off. We got a Consumer Report helping you stretch your dollar with ways to file for free.
We've had a pretty unusual start to winter. Now we are tracking snow in the desert Southwest. That same system is headed our way, and it's going to have multi-components. We'll look at that coming up.